Readers, last year I had a student who was reading a book, and one of the main characters was about dragons. And the student started to notice that dragons from the East were all depicted as being really wise and really good, and all of the dragons from the West were really evil and really cruel. And so he started to think more about, why was this the case? Why was their author making the West dragons and the East dragons so completely different and giving them almost a different culture? And so the student from last year, he actually started to do a little bit of research to find out if this type of tradition was common. Were dragons commonly thought of as evil in the West and commonly thought of as good in the East? So this student did a little bit of research and learned more about the Crusades, which were a series of holy wars between Europe and the Middle East, ranging from 1095 to 1291. And sure enough, dragons were represented very differently in those two cultures. So this was a lot of cultural thinking because of these dragons that my student was doing. So expert fantasy readers not only pay close attention to the cultures the stories they read are coming from, but they also pay attention to how cultures are portrayed. They take note of how similar characters, settings, even plot lines vary across fantasy stories from different cultures. They pay attention to those things, and readers can learn more about their own and other cultures. Here I first looked up Twee Sutherland, our author of Menagerie. She is from Paraguay and Venezuela before she moved to New Jersey when she was in high school. We also learned that her mother came from New Zealand. So here we find out that Twee was from another country. And how does that help us understand reading the Menagerie a little bit better? It, to me, makes sense because she positioned Logan to not be white. He's the only African American in the story. So she wanted her main character to be different from the other characters in the story. Maybe she felt different from other students growing up in New Jersey too. Here, when Logan was luring the griffin to find the hamburger meat, he sees Marco Jimenez, and they actually say in the text that he was one of the only other students of color at their school. So it seems like, again, Twee is shining a light on other students who feel slightly different, potentially because of their culture. So readers, today we saw how if we dig deeper to unearth the hidden layers of all our texts, we can look and pay attention to how cultures are portrayed in stories. And we can consider how characters, settings, and plot lines can vary across stories and cultures. Today, you will think and notice about the culture our author, Twee, is writing from. We learned that she was born in Caracas, Venezuela, and lived in Paraguay, Miami, Florida, and the Dominican Republic before she moved to New Jersey. Does that have any effect on the way she wrote the Menagerie? What do you think? Also, in the next section, please type your own book club name and think about how the culture either of your author plays out in your story, or think about the way your author portrays cultures in your story. Have a great day, guys.